Shanti. Actually, you have it on your sheet, so I won't write it. Shanti, peace. Peace is not only an absence of war or conflict, but amongst other things, it is the absence of war and conflict. Peace, Shanti, is to establish equity. That's what it means. Okay? SH, the sound sh, like in Shiva, sh is that from the higher mind, focus to manifest. That's the sound. An means in nature. Okay? A is presence and an is nature. T is balance. Okay? The T in this case is a structure. It's followed by E, the English letter I, the vowel. So T is higher order. Okay, it means balance. So Shanti is to bring equity in all things. Okay? To establish a balance where everything is even, so there's no ripple, there's no unexpected. That's Shanti. Rishi Naya is the way of the saint. Okay? How a saint behaves actually is a more accurate translation. How a saint will lead himself. Rishi is a seer, a saint, a holy man. Naya is to lead, is the way, is a behavioral phenomena. It's also a mat and a root, but in this case, Rishi Naya is how a saint behaves. Peace. The saint behaves in establishing equity, evenness inside him before outside. Okay. Anuja, forgiveness. Anu is the bija for an experience that is very present. Okay? You feel something objectively. Okay? So you're affected by something. Ja is to understand it. Okay? So anuja, if we just say the dictionary word, is forgive or forgiveness. But in bija, it means to understand the experience. Oh, so that's why it happened. Okay, I forgive you. You know, once you understand why someone did something, you see it's easier to forgive. Huh? Because forgiveness is actually getting to the understanding. And why are we so offended when we let's say you can't forgive someone. You try to forgive and you can't. Because you don't understand why they did it. So see how much your mind, your head is stuck with the need to understand, and until you understand it, you completely refuse to forgive. But you can't forgive someone who killed your loved one. You can't forgive a killer. Yes, you can, when you understand. If you're not there yet, it means you did not do an effort to understand. This is not for the typical mundane person who believes that vengeance is the way out. This is not for the typical mundane person. The Shinaya is how do you become a saint? You get to the point of forgiving someone who rapes you. You get to the point of forgiving someone who kills a loved one. You get to the point of forgiveness and its true meaning. It is an absolute profound understanding of evolution and all experiences that happen and what you can get out of it. And just be grateful that you're still alive to have more of those. And the good ones too. Okay? Hopefully it gets better. So, I'm not going to give you a class of Anuja right now because we have the weekend to do that. If we get into that. It's just I'm taking for granted you know what forgiveness is. Of course, you probably don't. You have a good idea. You want to forgive. But there are forces inside you that don't forgive. There are forces inside you that don't ask permission and just blows up. You've heard that in the potential seminar in Antarajriya. Wisdom, you've heard about this power that does not ask permission and it just explodes. Okay? Someone cuts you and says, I'm all at peace, practicing a new job in my car. Don't do this in your car. Okay? Because you might transcend. It's stupid. But let's say you're all peaceful and happy. You know, I don't know anything, nothing can disturb me right now. And someone in a sports car just cuts you very short. You go, vroom, and you go, asshole, you don't know how to drive. Okay, so still not a master of forgiveness. Say, oh, he's probably in a hurry with no respect of rules, and just understand, this guy is still just an animal, we allowed him to drive. In society, it's how it works, right? Okay, so anuja is that part where you understand why we do things. It's to be at peace with the evolution process. It's more than forgiving someone once. Oh, okay, I forgive you, but I don't forget you. Well, that's not what we're talking about. Forgiving and not forgetting, I took all this wise. If someone screws you 3 times in a row, you just know that it is unwise to trust that person. It's not that you did not forgive, it's because you're wise. Don't give your money to someone who ends up burning it in a fire, for example. Okay, or wasting it with the girls and drugs and casino. Okay, don't give responsibilities to someone you know over time will screw it up. That's not a lack of forgiveness. That's an abundance of great wisdom. Don't play with children who did not mature enough to handle fire, knives, and stuff like that. Okay, it's just a question of wisdom. Forgiveness is not something you do once. It's a state of being. It's not I forgive you. If you go, I forgive myself, it's a good and essential, nice step. It's absolutely essential, but that is not anuja. Okay, forgiveness is a constant state of being. It's something you are. In this desire, okay, something just happened, and I want to understand what's going on. I want to live it. Okay, get the experience, integrate, free the suffering. So you don't need to get to the point of projection of your vengeance on the other. Okay? Forgiveness is that. So, of course, it's saints master that. Before that, we just try hard. Okay? So, peace, third eye. Forgiveness, throat, chakra. For those who understand which chakra has which experience. Heart, compassion. Karuna. Okay? Karuna, we say compassion is loving kindness, but then compassion can be also to be ruthless. Compassion is to push someone to go through an experience if it's going to be positive and it's legal and not evil to do so. Compassion is when parents help children vanquish trials. Okay? Compassion is not just loving kindness. It starts with that. Because whatever you do, you don't want to do it out of vengeance, out of hatred, out of anger, or violence. Okay? So, thank you so much. So, compassion is not just a little kind, gentle, loving kindness. It is that. It must be that. But there is in the word karuna, provoke a strong reaction. Okay? Ka is causality, it's to cause, it's like kali. Okay? It's causality, it's what befalls on you and you have to live with it. Okay? So karu is an intense and rich feeling. Okay? It's a well-defined feeling, and na is objective. It's right here. So to cause objecting feelings, that's the bija understanding of karuna. Okay? So you heard me once say the compassionate thing to do right now is to talk to you in a way that you understand. But if the most efficient way to transmit the wisdom would be to get fully naked right now, that's exactly what I will do. Okay? Of course I won't, because it's not appropriate right now. Although I did it 2 years and a half ago in Alicante, and some people remember, oh my God, Maha just got fully naked. Now out of nowhere I said, okay, they're stuck up. Took 5 seconds. Okay? Now, who's ashamed right now? Who's ashamed of their body right now? I tried to just redress up and continue my class. I was trying to teach them who's ashamed of their body. And so, oh, even you, Maha, I could walk naked on the street, okay? That stuff is resolved. I don't do it because I'd also end up in jail, which is not a wise thing to do. But it's not shame that prevents me from getting naked right now. It's respect of rules, respect of others. You understand the compassion of respecting how the system works. I'm just invoking examples like this. Don't hope to see me naked. It won't happen ever again. Okay, I did it once, now I can just invoke this story. And some of you know how shameless I am, however compassionate also. You see, compassion is an absence of anarchy in any way. It's a way, Compassion will also work correctly with shanti, with equity. Well, everything is even for everyone. And also with forgiveness. Compassion is meant to bring an understanding. Okay, because every virtue is in the service of every other. Every virtue collaborates with every other. The Rishi Naya is one state of being. And all the virtues that we act then are side effect of the single state of being, the holy state of being. Okay? So we learn about these different components of Rishi Naya so that we can be inspired of the possibilities. What is that holy state? What is it? Okay, it's not just lift your chin and just think about God all the time, because you can think about God while hitting someone. You can think about God and train kamikazes to blow themselves in planes. You can think about God and do an awful lot of things. Okay? You can also be compassionate and peaceful and forgiving. Plexus, Kritanya. Okay? Kritanya is gratitude. Okay? Gratitude in the center of the sun. Okay, where the sun is in solar plexus, we say in occult sciences. Kritanya is, we put it here because this is where our organs are, where we need to feed. And usually we're always in the animal reflex of getting. I want more, I want for myself, I want more, I need to provide for myself. Of course you have to do it. Do it out of compassion, not out of greed. Try to have as much resource as you can out of compassion for yourself to be comfortable and happy, not out of greed, which is the animal reflex to survive. And once you've got enough, you need to get more until it gets you sick and kills you. Okay? So Kritanya is to contemplate solar plexus and meditate Kritanya. Kritanya, just what is gratitude? It's a constant state of being. It's not something you express once, like, oh, thank you. That's not gratitude. That's just expressing gratitude. But gratitude is a constant state of being. It's a way to live and exist. Okay? So bringing equity to everyone in a state of forgiveness to understand everything that happens, with compassion, accepting that experiences are caused for us to grow in that fashion, with gratitude. And the last one, Manasvin, okay, the belly, or the navel. Chakra. The navel, actually. What's the Sanskrit name for that one again? Huh? That's not the hara. Swadhisthana. Okay, thank you. I forgot it. So, Manasvin, mindfulness. Why is it here? Because Manasvin is not about being in your head and having a full head. Okay? And mindful is not a good English translation of Manasvin. Okay? It's to put your mind in what you do. It's not just having a full head. It's not mindful. It's to keep your attention complete on what you are or what you do. Okay? Vin is the vastness of nature. Okay? So Manas is the intellect. Vin is the big nature. It's not just you, but everything, like all of this. Okay? So just pay attention to all of this. So it's incarnate. So we say mindful, but we could say incarnate, to inhabit your body and your experience. That is Manasvin. Okay? It's much more than just always concentrate, which is a typical Buddhist translation. Always pay attention, always concentrate. It's more than that. It's be involved. Get your mind in your body. Okay? So in Mana, we have a shift from the subtle to the tangible. In Hebrew, Ma, well, Maim is water, but the M is water, and the N is mass, or a fish. So Ma, Na, is to go from the untangible to the tangible, to go from the abstract to the concrete. Okay? That's why we say it's intellectual processes, the ability to conceive objective things in the abstract world. Okay? That's where it comes from. That's why they created the name Manasa. Manasa, which is the power to, or the ability to grasp something objectively of what it seems to be subjective or abstract. Okay, it's all of that, right? So Manasvin is the embodiment of your mind into your experience, body, feelings, everything. Okay, just bring it here. So it's incarnation more than mindfulness. Okay, although mindfulness, the way the Buddhists teach him, will bring you to incarnation, to be there. Okay. So I take for granted now that you have 2 years of experience in all that, applying every day how to be a saint. Okay, so we can progress to the next step. Once you're a saint, now what do we do? Okay, you'll be able to review these notes this weekend and refer to those. And when I teach Rishi Naya, I usually have one strong experience per level. Okay. Now we have to take care of another part. Okay, breathe. Pay attention inside. Is there someone here who has no idea what is integration? Okay, you all know. Because usually if you're here, you also went through the class of your teachers, which are my students. Do you like to be validated? Do you want to have validation? At your job, you want to be told how great you are. At your family, you're expecting the small children to say, "Mom, you're doing a great job as a mom," which will probably never happen. Until they grow old and say, "Mom, you're a great mom." And you feel the kind of wisdom in there. You did your best with the tools you had. Okay. So you like to be validated? And all of you men, are you hoping one day your kids tell you you've been a great mom? Carlos, eh? Oh my God. So, we'll talk first of the defensive mechanisms we have to have a place in this world. Okay? Having a place in this world. Do I have the right to live in this world? Okay? And the feeling that you have no place in this world. We need to address this. So you have an idea at your job, you're talking about various things, and you have an idea, or amongst friends, and you think your idea is pretty good, until someone else in the group throws a better idea, and you know it's a better idea because it even makes sense to you. You agree it's a better idea, and you start fighting to prove your idea is still the better one. Huh? You've been through this once or twice in your life, trying to hold on to your point of view, even if the others seem to have a very good point of view. You will be fighting to keep your right. Okay? When you do this, do you really want the truth? Or do you just want to be validated? Do you really want what's better for everyone? When you see yourself what is better for someone else, you deny it to keep your idea, which is worst, but because it's yours. Do you understand what I mean? So conversation, opinion. Now let's refer to a fight with the parents. Teens get a fight with parents. You've got those. Either as a parent you got teens who do that, or as a teen you did this with your parents. But argument that you were right doing what you did, when you obviously know you screwed up. So you breathe and you try to go get these feelings. Okay, that's important. Sometimes you screw up, you make something like vandalism, or steal, or lie, and then you just don't care. You just, doesn't matter. Huh? Just some kind of little revolution against authority. The point is, what causes you to do these things? Huh? What causes you to do that? You breathe. And you look at a genetic need to have a place, to rule your own little kingdom. Okay? And then the feeling, everyone else always disagree. I always end up alone. And you start to dramatize this into, I'm always the one suffering the most. Huh? Let's say you have bad lucks in your life. I'm always the one suffering the most. No one understands. Okay, do you get this drama? That is a packed up potential energy of denial that just wants to refuse everything as the truth. So breathe. Okay? It's not just a genetic response, it's also an existential phenomenon. We breathe. You like to have attention in life, huh? What if you don't have this attention? What happens? When you don't have the attention, the love, the care, the tenderness, the presence of people that you would wish, when you don't have that, what happens? You feel left out? You want validation? You want everyone to do everything in your place, or you want to feel not alone in this world? How much do you need to be validated? How much do you need others to confirm you exist? And I want you to breathe. Go seek that emotion. Okay. So, I want you to pick a specific story. Because of this need of validation, we have heartbreaks. Heartbreaks is a result of someone not validating that we are loved. Okay? So it's much more than having the good idea to work. Okay? And sometimes you're just convinced that you deserve a certain kind of being treated in a certain way. But I want something, but I want something. What really hurts is that fundamentally you expect the outside to give you the authority to exist. I'll invoke an example here, which is not heartbreak or job, it's ritual work. I was with Absagni, and I say, you preside the ritual. So she was going to do a ritual, and there was other people around, and I was there. And she operated the ritual, but sometimes I gave suggestion, and she felt my energy very present, like I'm going to take in charge, because it's always been me, usually, that does the ritual. Say, now you do the ritual. So, okay, but if I do the ritual, you let me do it. Of course I'm going to let you do it. You're the president of that ritual. So she operates ritual, a prayer, in that case I believe to Raphael. Was it? Was Raphael? Right. And she feels my presence, my energy, that I'm there doing the ritual. And she's doing it. And I see that she missed little things. So I say, we should take care of putting incense more in the burner. Okay. How about before we continue, we do a mala of this, or a rosary of that, or, I threw stuff like this once in a while, maybe 10 times during the entire ritual. It lasted an hour and a half. We should do this now, okay? Because she was doing pretty much everything in order, but sometimes missing a bit of the feeling, So obeying a lot of the instructions, but in a ritual you don't obey instructions. The instructions are based if we feel we don't have a rich enough experience We'll do another mala or another set of prayers. We'll fill in. You have to use your feelings. But I was just directing because she was paying attention to her rule set, but not to what was really going on. And she wants me to train her to be a better mage. So I do it. So at the end, she said all the time, what really aggressed me, Maha, and I'm sure you're going to tell me something to evolve out of this, but I was irritated, and you might want to look at your stuff too, because I was supposed to be the one directing this ritual, and your attitude and your energy was always taking the place, taking the place, taking the place. You're always taking all the space. And I was just trying to be the president of that ritual, and I was like pushed aside, in which you were always there picking on. And I said, well, is there any of those objection or intervention that you felt was misappropriate? And she says, that's the point. Absolutely every time that you have vocalized or verbally interacted was good. And I was happy to learn it or to be refreshed on the rules of ritual work. But it's the attitude. So what was the attitude? You're expecting me, a fully trained mage, to be weak next to an altar? I was not taking your space. I was there, and you were not. So if you're the president, you should not give a shit about the state of power of others. You just do your thing. And if someone tells you we should put incense, as a fully incarnate and powerful mage, acknowledge, yes, thank you, and put it, and be in a state of power. And not wait for others to give you all the place. Do you understand that? So in your life, you are waiting for someone else to give you the place. You're waiting for someone to tell you, yes, you can do this. And if you see someone like me, like a little Maha, come around, just doing what he has to do, how arrogant is he? He's taking all the place. Bullshit. You're not taking yours. That's it. You see how you blame others? You wait for others to grant you that you will now be listened to. You will now be loved by the lover. You will now be given what you want. You will now, okay, we will all shut up now and listen to that person talk. Please listen. Well, usually when we're a large group of civilized people, we do listen to someone. But on a daily basis, you just want to say something, you talk, and stuff happens, a lot of movement around at the job, at the family center, and then you have the feeling, people are not giving me place. Where did you ever think that someone was going to give you place? What went wrong in your mind to think that someone was actually going to give you a place of your own? You take it. And out of compassion, never take anyone else's place, but fully inhabit yours. Okay, so how much are you waiting for others to validate your existence? You're waiting for people to acknowledge you, to tell you you're great, or that you're loved, or that you were competent enough. You're waiting for others to give you the right to take the next breath, a heartbeat, to exist, to say something. It's impolite and also uncompassionate to cut someone who is talking. But if you have something to say, you find a way to say it. Oh, they're not letting me say. Oh, wait, I was just there and I had a feeling like no one was listening anyway. What are you waiting for? For other people to decide that you have the right to exist? I'm gay, people don't like me. What? Just be gay. I mean, it's not complicated. I'm not saying this for everyone as a rule. I'm just saying for the few of you who is the trial. Is to think of, the coming out of the closet thing is full of bull crap. The coming out of the closet thing for gay people is a completely illusionary dream. I'm going to show to the people, and their opinion is going to count. Coming out of the closet for a gay person is confirming that other people's opinion very much count. It should not be the case. You should just do your thing. Do you understand what I mean? Breathe. if you exist in a certain way, if you have preference, if you want to live your life in a certain way, if you want to say something, interact with people, you just do it in a compassionate, respectful way that is supposed to be harmonious and not wait for others to validate your existence. Even if you have a fulfilled life right now, all these moments in your past that were not validated, you still carry them around. All these emotions of your heartbreaks, of your arguments with your parents, with the lover, with the children, with the friends, with the bosses, with the employees, all of this that is unresolved, you're still carrying it around. And I can easily imagine a boss roam around his business thinking in the back of his head, employees don't respect me. And I can easily imagine employees thinking while the boss walks around, that boss does not respect us. What is this bullshit? What is this thing about hoping for someone else to respect you? Why are you waiting for someone else to respect you? I'm taking for granted here that you have gratitude for everything you have, that you're fully incarnate and you like to be in your body and exist, that you have compassion, forgiveness, and wanting to understand everything and focus on harmony whatever happens. Okay? Rishi Naya. So, breathe. And look at yourself and your behavior waiting for someone else to give you a place. And then you got this foolish argument, well, if I want a promotion, I can't cause it. You know, the boss has to give it to me. Yes. And if you don't, I agree. It means if you didn't get that promotion, your place is at where you are right now. I'm not talking about what you have to fight to get it. I'm saying, why are you not in a state of fulfillment of yourself right now, expecting for some other confirmation to come to give it to you? Huh? That's your denials. Okay, that's projection. That's all the effort to say it's the other's fault. I mean, a couple breaking up, both of them are blaming the other. Of course. She's such a bitch. He's such a bitch. Everyone is such a bitch. Everyone is such a bad person. You were hard with me. No, you were hard with me. No, you were the one that were hardest. What is this thing? The place inside you that doesn't believe in its own present moment existence. That's what I want you to care about, okay, right now. And if you don't get it, I'm going to throw you out of the room. You know, just to encourage the feeling, oh no, I don't have to really exist. So you get this? Okay? Rishi Naya is this focus. I'm where I am right now. And I'm doing my best. And if I'm doing my best, nothing should matter. Nothing should matter. So why does it bother you when someone insults you? If you're doing just what you're doing at the moment you're doing it. And you need only you to know what you're doing. And if someone suggests you've done wrong, you'll say, thank you. I needed that to get better. That's it. But no, that's not what it is, eh? We do something, and then, is it okay? You know, you look around and you're hoping for people to look at your work and tell you that you've been doing great. And of course they won't, because they're doing exactly the same thing with you. Eh? Hoping you'll turn around and tell them they're good at their job. And you're flipping your burgers on the grill, you know. Doesn't look like it, but you're still hoping for acknowledgement. Eh? Or you've got this big business in a corporation, or you're desk typing stuff, or repairing some building, whatever you're doing, at one point, you want to hear that little thank you. Eh? So now let's go a little thank you, the projected gratitude, okay? The false hypocrisy, the false humility gratitude, which is a very hypocrite projection. You hold the door, and the people just go by. Well, you should have said thank you. What is this? What is this? Confirming over and over, each time someone does not have gratitude for you, confirming that you're a weak piece of shit that we should walk on. What is this reflex? Well, you could have said thank you, you know. You could have acknowledged that I exist. What is this? In the sense that you're offended because you want others to validate your existence? If you did something out of charity, it was out of charity. If you held the door for someone to go through, you held the door for someone to go through. Or you are all whores, prostituting thank yous for door holding. Are you whores? In your heart, in your guts? The validation of your existence is constantly. If someone honks at you, fuck you, man, I did nothing wrong. And you, oh, I did something wrong. Instead of someone's honking, am I doing something wrong? Objectively, just look at it and do your thing. Huh? But you've got this power, angry at others for not giving you a place to live and to stay and to breathe existence. They want to throw you out of the country. They want to kill you. They want to, you asshole, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to do this. Okay. If someone threatens your existence, a boss makes you lose your job, for example, okay? Something happens that you're not fully validated. How affected you are. Look at that. Breathe. Always angry at everything around you when it's not validating your existence. Okay? So what is this? Pride. Even better, it's arrogance. It's pride because you need to have your place validated by others. It's greed because you want that validation to come. You want more. And it's hatred or anger because you're going to be angry and project if you don't have it. So that's arrogance. It's the three poisons together. Okay. It's your identity, your relationship, and your possessions that just drag you out of yourself. And then you want all these things, your identity, your possessions, and your relationships, to come back in and validate for you in your place that you exist. You've thrown yourself out of yourself and now you want everything else to throw it back inside you. Will never happen. They're just so happy to have your attention, your place, your gratitude. Huh? So breathe and look at it. Feel it. That fighting inside to exist. Because you have no faith. That's the reason why it happens. You have no faith. Close your eyes when you're done writing that phrase. In your imagination, fall backwards in darkness. You're falling backwards in darkness. Imagine like if there was no sound, no light, it's nothing, it's just falling and you have no idea when it's going to stop. You have no idea if you're going to hit something or some creature will grab you from behind. You just have no idea what lurks in that darkness, it's just falling. And you think in your mind, I don't know if I exist. I don't know where I am. Just breathe. Try to get that emotion. I don't know if I have a place of my own. I don't know if I exist. I'm just falling in darkness. I'm lost. I've been abandoned by the world. this darkness, there's no family, there's no job, there's no lover, there's no friends, there's no life, there's no environment. Just let go of the idea of falling in darkness. Just stay in that black place. Just stay empty. Stay lost. You want to get the feeling of being lost. Your soul inside is lost. It's an existential problem we all have. We feel lost with no right to exist. So your mother abandoned you, your father, your parents, your last lovers, everyone abandoned you. So you just breathe there. And if you're angry, it's possible to be angry because life is so crappy, because everyone else, it's their fault if you lost everything, if you have nothing, if your life is shit. It's their fault. You know, people made my life so crappy. I'm stuck in the blame. Seeing there, this is the absence of faith. You can ask yourself, how long are you going to wait for outside validation? Breathe and slowly come back here, but stay in that feeling, okay? Just pay attention to the words now. You should look at them. How long are you going to still hope for Maha to come and give you a hug? Make you feel better. How long are you going to wait for your lover, your parents, or some people to come and validate your existence? That's why I said in this boot camp, no one comes to Maha. No one will have the question answered. No one will have from me what they want to manipulate out of the situation. Please give me attention that way. The answer is no. Why are you hurt? Why don't you have faith? What you need, I'm giving it to you. In form of wisdom and experiences. You'll get it. Okay? Oh, you'll get it. Do you really want my attention this week? That's the question. Yes, you will, because I'm going to be in loving kindness the entire week. Very kind. Going to have enough stuff rising from you, okay? So you understand that speech? It's not in the head. It's not just the ego or the mind. It's visceral. It's in your guts. There's something that is just painfully hurt. Again, the example of the heartbreak that just physically hurts with pain. So much there is an intense need of outside validation. That projection, okay, of not being confirmed. And the hurt of loneliness is dramatic. It is real. It is real suffering. But not for any other reason that you are stuck without faith. You can't simulate faith. You can't say, oh, all I have to do then is have faith. No. You can't have faith. It's impossible. You cannot acquire faith. You can only stop not having it. You can only stop these processes that makes you faithless. Okay? You cannot acquire faith by force. But that's the fundamental stone on which a holy person is sitting. It's faith. That's the defining state. I exist. Which we will not dabble into the Buddhist, there is no existence. We'll see this later. Once you know you exist, then I can show you you don't. And it changes nothing. Okay? But right now, oh my God, I really don't exist. Ah! Well, maybe there's no point in having anyone confirm you exist if you have accepted that you don't. But then again, you're here, so you exist. Why? Because existing, or existence, or I exist, is words that we invoke to mention something. The fact that you feel here, regardless if it's real or an illusion, forget everything they taught you about what is real, what is illusion, everything is a great dream. Forget that, because it's useless to know that. It won't serve you. When you get there, you'll see, oh, okay, I understand why they said like dream and illusion, but you're here, you're sitting on the floor, you're not going through the floor, eternally falling towards the center of the earth because the floor is an illusion or a dream. You're really, sitting on your chair or your floor. So, it's real. Okay, we'll call this it exists. All right, and not trip over the bullshit of which words we use to mean what. And I've read some Buddhist guy that said everything is in my head. No, it's not in your head. You'll understand the illusion and dream part when it's obvious as an experience. Until then, you're wasting a lot of time. Okay, so we're here and we exist, and the problem is we're not sure we exist because we're afraid to stop existing, because the ego is constantly challenged by the truth, which is the soul. That does exist, except from its own perspective, because then it's another way of thinking. But we don't want to dabble in that, as I said. Ooh, am I losing you now? You're keeping track? Okay. So, existential fear. The existential fear. I'm afraid. Existential abandonment, existential rejection, or existential guilt. You have experiential emotion or mass of the ego, like I felt guilty when I did that. So that's experiential, that's on the moment, that's temporary, that's sporadic. You have also an existential experience of every one of the mass of the ego. An existential savior, an existential acquiring. You have existential processes that eats you from inside. And all we do in integration is get you to the point of being able to recognize the deeper core of what you are as the existential, I'm afraid I don't have the right to exist because I think that God rejected me. So we breathe. When all these life trials happened, I've been afraid that God rejected me, pushed me out. Okay, so we breathe. Okay, we're good? Makes sense? So, regardless of the amount of contemplation we can do about it, there is this reflex in the abdomen that will just rise and push you in torture of, I'm still not validated. We just talked about it, but if your lover leaves you tonight, you're going to be crushed. Because it's not a technique where you know the trick. Oh, I just have to say it, faith. Doesn't work. It's existential. Okay? It's going to tear your life apart. If someone steals $1,000 from you, and you, which doesn't look criminal, so you need to go to court. Well, you go to court for $1,000. How much stress will it take? How much anger will it generate? How much pressure will it make on your system? Because you want to be validated. How dare you steal from me? Because he didn't have the right to. Of course he didn't have the right to. Now you're going to fight for outside validation. It's not just the money you want to have, because $1,000 is not worth the stress and the trouble and the pain and the hatred that goes in court and the weight on the system. It's not worth that. But you would go for it because it's $1,000. Well, it depends. If you dramatically need $1,000, go get it, because that's responsible. I wouldn't do it. I didn't do it for 6. I was in a way, manipulated out $6,000 by someone who sold me a house. I didn't go in court. I just had $6,000 more of debt, and I said, by the time it takes the investment, the energy, the year or two, to prove that this guy lied, broke things, I just paid for it. I just paid for a new roof. I purchased my house a new roof. And I had $6,000 less. And it took a few years, and I paid it, and I worked hard, and I think I'd go for 10, maybe 20. You know, we all have different thresholds of how dramatically do we need it to keep surviving. If your food is getting low, go get that money. But look at how much, I'm just taking an example at court, how much effort are you going to put to gain something that it's going to just destroy you anyway. And it's not for the money, because you can go buy it. You can go without it sometimes. Not all the time, but if you can, it means you can. That means you're going to destroy your life because the system told you that you had to fight for it because it was your right. It's not an obligation, it's your right. It means you can if you want to go through the trouble. It doesn't mean we have to accept thieves. Okay? If it's out of the sense of bringing justice, prove someone is a thief, have him pay it, the fine or the jail time or whatever. But when your motivation is, you didn't have the right to do this, I'm going to make you pay. Whoa, whoa. You mean that you accept that this guy actually attacked your right to exist? Someone affects you or offends you in any way, steals, lies, breaks, threatens, I'm going to make you pay. What? What you just said is, I don't exist fully until I brought back balance through egocentric means. You know, the fighting that you're ready to do purely out of vengeance, out of pride, is confirming that you don't really want to exist. You don't want to be full. You say, this affected me. So you breathe. I'm just invoking tons of examples of everything that could throw you off your, I'm just there, fully empowered, and I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do my best. And if I don't do my best, I'm still going to do what I believe is my best until someone shows me better, and it's okay. So what I told Absagni in that ritual is, when you do a ritual, be there, take charge, and never expect the other to give you that place. And in a ritual of magic, expect every other mage around to be fully incarnate and in charge of that ritual. So we name a president only for a good management of the structure of how it's going to happen. Okay. Don't expect someone to become weak before you become powerful. And never become powerful in order for others to become weak. It should have no relationship. Your state of empowerment regarding other state of empowerment have no link, are not related. Okay? It doesn't concern others. So you are in charge of what you do now, and you do it kindly but fully incarnate. You're conscious, and you do what you have to do. And when someone else does what they have to do, well, fine. I get this crap often. Like, you like to take a lot of place, huh? You, Maha, you like to take all the place. I said, well, I take place. I agree. I'm currently answering a question. Like in France, someone, I was talking to people at the restaurant table, and I was the only one talking because each time I stopped, someone would ask a question for me to continue. Because they like it, because it's my job. They came to a source of wisdom to learn. But there's someone that was not invited at another table, just turned around and said, sir, I think you take a lot of place and you don't really allow others to talk. I said, well, it's your point of view and it's okay. I'm talking right now because they asked me to. I was even paid to do so. So it's kind of clear that it's my role to do so. And if you don't agree, you have the right to. It's okay. I didn't bitch at, what are you talking about? Stay on your plate. No. It did not attack us. It just stated the thing as they are. I said, well, you see, that entire thing about disciples bowing and obeying to a great master and everything, I think is bullshit. And she was trying to attack what she believed I was doing. So I said, I agree too. A master should be a master only of himself, and a disciple is someone who chose to learn with the complete free will to stop whenever he wants. That's how it should be, huh? Don't you agree? She says, yeah. Oh, yes, that's exactly what I... Good. She joined her table. I kept on talking. But you see, that person took for granted that I was taking all the place, that she had to fight, that I was wrong because she had ideas how I behave as a master towards my disciples. Do you understand? That's the entire place thing. What's my place? Just do your thing. Now, do you feel you have a place right now? That's the point. Are you right now in a situation where you have a place? Breathe. Contemplate it during the next break.